It's the moment of truth for all job seekers, the job interview. But as the folks at CareerBuilder.com found out, candidates will often blow their chances with unnecessary and sometimes outrageous mistakes. CareerBuilder's Vice President of Human Resources, Rosemary Hefner, is here to tell us what not to do on that big job interview. Rosemary, good morning. Some of these things are just mind-boggling. What's the biggest mistake that managers talk about seeing in a job interview?
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt, the biggest is dressing inappropriately. So 57% of the hiring managers we interviewed recently said, "You're not going to believe this. People showing up in a business suit. I was impressed. I looked down, I see flip-flops, all the way to pajama bottoms. My personal favorite, pajama bottoms. You know, what should they do? I would say always err on the conservative side, and that may be a business suit. But ultimately, the environment you're interviewing with, what is their dress code, what's normal for them, make sure you check that out before you show up. You just want to make sure you're showing the hiring manager, you know, you take the job seriously, and how you're dressing is going to show that.
And the second big mistake is asking personal questions. What kinds of things do people ask in an interview, and what's appropriate?
If you're going to be asking questions, make sure you keep those on point. Talk about the company, you know, you're asking about the position. Really make sure you're keeping focused on that.
Yeah, there are some things you want to ask. I mean, you want them to know that you're knowledgeable about the company and you know the job you're interviewing for. Right?
Absolutely. Ask questions. Come prepared. It's one of those other common mistakes we see where people don't have questions, but not just any questions. They need to be good questions. Where's the job going to be taking me in 5 years? What are your competitors up to? Look intelligent about the opportunity.
And what about if you have something on your resume or in your job history that maybe isn't so positive? You say stay away from talking negatively about a previous job. Huh?
Absolutely. It's hard to do. There's a lot of frustration out there if you've had a bad experience at a recent employer, or you were laid off, what have you, but do not air that grievance at the interview. You will potentially be labeled a troublemaker, a complainer. Hiring managers thinking, are they going to be saying these things about me in a year or two? So make sure you keep it positive, focus on the skills you have and how you can transfer those quickly to the new opportunity.
All right, cell phones, text messages, all of these things. What do you do when you go into an interview?
Yeah.
You forget to turn it off and it rings?
And it happens, and it's innocent enough. If that happens, you say, I'm so sorry, but we have reports of candidates taking the calls and asking the interviewer to leave the room because they need privacy for the call.
Wow.
So, that is not as extreme and uncommon as you would think. It's happening regularly. So easy fix, stay focused, good eye contact, turn off the technology, make sure you're selling yourself.
And very, very quickly, lying.
Lying, don't do it. Honesty is the best policy. Just don't do it.
If you don't know the answer, just say no.
Say you don't have it and you're going to get back in touch with them. You have the upper hand then, because you can contact them after the interview and make sure you're top of mind when they're making their final selection.
Okay, Rosemary Hefner, thank you so much for coming in. Good advice.